Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
If the person you hate the most were to experience one slight inconvenience every day for the rest of their lives, what would you choose it to be? Saved passwords on all devices are always incorrect. So every time they sign into anything they have to reset the password. This works best if they aren't allowed to use a previous password when they reset it. This one's brutal. Itchy asshole every 30 minutes. I was going to answer with something traffic related. Hit every stoplight. Or, always behind slow drivers driving 10 miles below the speed limit. But you, I huff farts from jars, are an artist whom I hope never to make my enemy. Every time they wipe it still smears. It's like I have a marker down there. I wipe and I wipe and I wipe. That one sock just isn't right in their shoe. Or every other time they put clean socks on, they always happen to step in some kind of water. I was thinking one where part of their sock always has the sensation of being a little damp. It isn't actually damp, but it feels that way when they put it on. I don't know if this level of psychological warfare goes too far beyond the slight inconvenience requirement though. Getting their sleeve caught in the handle whenever they pass a door. Last time this happened I was incandescent with rage. This is a truly evil thing, I love it. It never happens when I'm in a good or even neutral mood, it always happens when I'm in a bad mood, so I am always at the verge of tearing either the door or my shirt when it happens. Fingerprint or facial unlock doesn't work for the first 3 to 4 attempts, every time. A different key on the keyboard becomes finicky every day, sometimes it presses multiple times, other times it doesn't pass at all. Every seatbelt they try and use does that annoying lock thing when they pull. Every shopping cart has a wobbly wheel. Their windows are never streak-free after cleaning. My seatbelt does locks up like 80% of the time. Do you hate me? I've never met a Greg I haven't hated. You know when you think you plugged your phone but the next day you find it at 10% because apparently it wasn't plugged properly. Yeah, that. The moment they get in bed they need water and don't remember if they locked the door. Or they have to pee every time they get comfortable in bed. I'm middle-aged, that just happens naturally once you get to this age. They will always be $1 short on all their expenses. Except they find the $1 in pennies and the cashier asks them to count it. Every time they finally think they've gotten rid of the hiccups, they hiccup one more time. Reaction time of their electronic devices, like laptop, smartphone, is always 5 seconds to 5 minutes late, depending on how stressed they are. The more stress, the slower. Why are you doing this to me in Terabang? One sock is always moist. This would actually cause me to Kermit sewer slide. Sorry, Mo's piggy. Have their charger be just 1 inch too short for them to use their phone in bed while it's charging, forcing them to either just wait or sit on the floor. To add to this, every charger is slightly defective so it has to be at the perfect angle to charge. And that angle changes every time. Every time they get on YouTube, they are greeted with a 6-second ad that's skippable after 5 seconds. And ad block doesn't work. This already happens to me. Why do you hate me? They're always 1 minute late. 1 minute late catching the bus or train. 1 minute late to the birth of their kid. 1 minute late dropping kids off. 1 minute late to a funeral. 1 minute late to their wedding. 1 minute late to appointments and meetings. 1 minute late picking up the call. If you cursed my partner with this, she would suddenly be basically on time for everything. 1 minute late to the toilet. I'd want them to experience the exact same suffering they willfully cause other people. The traffic lights turn to red just as they get there. Or they always get stuck behind a really slow driver. Or a driver that sticks exactly to the speed limit. Duck behind a slow driver who manages to make the light before it turns red, but always causes them to catch the red. One random prong on every fork they use will be slightly bent out of line. A tine out of line. But only thine, never mine. They shart just a little. And have a serious bean addiction. And they always slightly smell like shit. The person I hate the most already does that thankfully. To be perpetually stuck in that moment when you are about to sneeze, but to never get the satisfaction of actually sneezing. This would actually count as a disability, I think. Every time they try to plug in a USB it's upside down. If it's right the first time it doesn't fit, so the second time it doesn't fit either, making for a minimum of 3 tries to get it right every single time. Isn't that every single person's mild inconvenience already? Or am I cursed? Question mark. Always a visible booger in their nose. That's torture for the person talking to them too, though, especially as short folk. Worth it for their humiliation every time they look in the mirror. Whenever anything good happens to them, they wake up from a dream. They always have a cut on their tongue or one of those infected taste buds. Every time they wipe, they get poop on their hand. Every time they pee, they get some on their pants. The inflamed taste bud is it. To audibly and in an olfactory manner fart in the most awkward time, place they encounter each day. Olfactory manner, aka the fart house. With every lie they'd vomit, piss and poo. The lack of commas makes this a very vivid image. Hold up. Are they vomiting, pissing, and shitting? Or when they vomit, shit and piss is what is being excreted? All of the above. Breaking a nail every day would be a super annoying form of water torture, but I'm having a harder and harder time summoning actual hate for folks as I get older. Feels kinda like punching myself and hoping the other guy feels it. Yes, this. Spending your time and energy hating other people literally does more damage to yourself than the person you hate. Even if they know you hate them, they probably don't give a shit. Woman shrugging. There was a church with me whose movable letter sign said, "Love your enemies." It really messes with their heads, and I think of it every time I drive past. I really just wonder what the hell they are doing that they have enemies. There is an immortal fly that buzzes around their head constantly, flying around their eyes and eyes whenever they try to concentrate. Or an immortal gnat nobody else can detect by any means that is forever landing on an eyeball, eyelid to get a drink, or in the nose for a snack, or in the ear to stretch its legs. And every now and then flies off out of hearing for just long enough to make you think it finally left before resuming its visitation. A bird poops on them every time they step outside. They felt intense empathy for the other person anytime they tried to do something that was unfair or intentionally hurtful to them. Yeah, this one is good. It even fixes the problem. Delayed shipping on all Amazon Prime orders. So just the standard Prime experience. Step on a Lego every morning. The op said, minor inconvenience, not torture. An ingrown toenail on each foot. I had a nail removed because it was ingrown and getting infected. This is actual torture, not a slight inconvenience. That actually can be a serious issue. Each toe. A pebble in their shoe that just won't get out and settles right under their big toe. Or, in the same spirit, always feeling like there's something in their eye, but there's nothing. Water that suddenly turns ice cold while having daily shower. I wish Elon to meet every day a different person who doesn't know who he is nor care. I've got a tall mocha latte for Elmo Munsk. Actually it's Elon, I own. That's nice champ. I've got a venti refresher for Sarah. Hey Sarah, nice to see you again. Quote, that's nice champ, have a good one. Proceeds to attend the next customer, rolling on the floor, laughing, rolling on the floor, laughing, rolling on the floor, laughing, loudly crying. Trip and almost fall but never actually fall, and there's always a witness who asks, are you okay? Question mark quote. The bottom of their feet are always extremely itchy 5 minutes after they put any footwear on, boots, shoes, sandals, etc. Pride to think of a person I know that I hate. I don't think I hate anyone I know. But I would probably want them to accidentally bite the inside of their mouth once a day. On the same spot. They do that little trip over your own feet, stumble at the most inopportune time. Unable to drink anything without spilling at least a little on themselves. Someone has it out for me, then tears of joy, tears of joy, tears of joy. Woman raising hand, light skin tone. They can't understand what anybody tells them the first time. It always has to be repeated. Doesn't matter if it's verbally told to them, if it's a TV show, or if it's in an email. It always has to be repeated. As a hard of hearing person, I must tell you that is diabolical and not a minor inconvenience. Every time they open the door to their house, a sparrow flies in. Stub their little toe. Her eyeliner wings would never line up. Every shit they'd take would be one of those you'd need half a toilet roll to wipe. Do people on Reddit not know what a minor inconvenience is? I'd be raging with almost any of these. Or maybe I have issues. Mine would be pulling the wrong cable for the blind every single time, thinking it was the right one. Bug bite backside of knee where it bends. Fuck you Chris Constable, you were never nice to me. May you be itchy forever. They'd run out of toilet paper every time they went. Never be able to connect to Wi-Fi. Ever. It connects, but never works. Every time they park their car, they get out and realize they need to get back in and move it. That they can never get the capture letters or pictures right. The taste of shit poop in their mouth all the time. To be name called, to be made fun of. Just once a day, every day, for the rest of their life. preferably by someone they think cares for them. Losing his phone the second he puts it down, or it being on 2% all of the time because his phone caused me no end of grief, tears of joy. Nah, every time they plug their phone in, it only remains charging for 25% of the time. The other 75%, the connection isn't right, so what would take say an hour charge to get to 100% now takes 12 hours. Empathy for others. The person I hate the most is the person I hate the most because they do not have empathy for other people. To them, this would be a severe inconvenience, but it would make them a better person. I don't want to be vindictive and hurt them. I want them to be a normal human. Getting a foot caught in their leggings every single time. Every time an animal walks up to them for a pet, it walks away just as they reach down to pet them. A mosquito buzzing around their head every night. It would be a different inconvenience every time. One day you just missed the bus, the next you're $1 short for everything you need to buy, the next you have a water leak, etc. Having hemorrhoids the day after eating really spicy food. Stubbing their pinky toe every 17 minutes and 32.7 seconds. And it alternates randomly which one gets stubbed. Ed, oh this is vile, but are you referring to eggplant or stew? Thinking face. They bump into every single doorway, and hopefully that doorway leads to a very long set of stairs. They have a slight amount of anxiety every time they take a step outside of their house. Do we not all have this already? Drug use will do this. My natural mental illness does.